Hey guys, it's Diana. It's me. It's wicked hot out. I went out in back porch, so I got a little air before I do this class. I made the world's best ribs in the microwave. So I was digesting them, enjoying the sun on my back, and I fell asleep. It's one of those, I call it, what do we call them? Involuntary naps. A nap accident. Anyways, I feel good. So I wanted to show you. I was going to keep these and just send them to you guys. I made a video. The first video I made, I forgot to push the video button to record it. So I had to do another one, so then I ended up doing 4. So I thought I'll do another one for you guys. I did a whole bunch of them. I'm going to show you. It's so cute. Of course, none of them are the same, but they're cute. Now, I got the watercolor. We're going to do the abstract one. You need a lot of water, so you're going to need a spray bottle. You're going to need some kind of brush, and you don't have to have a palette knife, any kind of palette knife. And after that, once you figure out with your imagination what you came up with, because the water goes all over, then you can decide if you want to add other stuff. Hey Sharon, so let me put this up there, and we'll do a couple landscapes, and we'll talk about the paper too. Now, this paper, turns out I need to be ordering some more paper. I did to Amazon Prime. I put a couple things back, and I wish I hadn't, but this is a thinner paper, and you're going to need something to tape it to. So let me put this down there. I have, which I forgot about, I ordered for cards, I ordered a bunch of these postcards. They're watercolor postcards, which you can do acrylic on them. And this is actually this paper is from a multimedia book, so this is a lighter weight. It'd be like 100, 130, 80 to 130. And the heavier paper is like 180 and up. So, and you'll get a different look, which I grabbed a bunch of different papers out of whatever I had. I found one book, I put all my ideas in there, so I keep the books, my multimedia books, because I might use them in a later date. So this paper is the same paper. This is a multimedia book that you can use all different things. And this is from Watercolor, big pad. I cut them all up. And then this is one of the things, I haven't used this yet. This is like what they call cold press. Now, the difference between like a smoother paper and cold press has little divots. So when you go to put that on, it works into the divots. Now, some people will actually sand that down. I think you're taking your chances. The paper's not that thick, but it is also heavier. So we're working actually with this multimedia paper, which is what I usually use anyways, but I had one piece left, I believe. I went through every book I had out in the front room. I don't keep them all in here, and I found one piece, so I cut it in half. So I usually do around this size anyways, like a 5x7, which fits into a frame really nice. And then I tape, this is, actually I used a piece of cardboard I had for a while, but this is actually a painting, but it's just a little dollar store one. And I'll tell you, a lot of times this will take the paint off. So some people will use a blow dryer or paper and like pray the paper don't come off. See, it came off a little bit, which is not abnormal. The trick is to do this wet with a blow dryer, if you can, if you have a blow dryer, or to let, what I did, completely dry on. I'm doing this in reverse because you have to let these dry. So I'll show you how I came up with. Now this, what I do is, when I first do this painting, when you pour in the water, you spray it. You pour in the water on it, it's dripping all over. You kind of like let it do its thing. And then I took the palette knife and I added some stuff, but you don't have to do that. Then you completely let it dry. And then the hard part is using your imagination to imagine what you see. And if you were looking at the things which I don't have anymore, I think there was 1 or 2 in a book, but they did bigger. It could be end up like this. I saw like a tree line back here and a fence. You could see maybe a castle, a bridge. So you gotta use your imagination. You may screw it up, but for such a small piece of paper, it's no big deal. You see how they gave it a nice edge? Sometimes they don't come off that easy. Now you can use washi tape, but I find it's just as easy to use. Sometimes the washi tape don't stand so good. As I take tape and I press against my clothes, back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. That gets some of the stickiness off. And that helps it stay on, but not on so much that I can't get it off right. It's just a trick. Now I had some, which I don't even know where I got it from, it's gone. This is, I bought 3 rolls. This is a 3-roll pack from Amazon, which I don't have in my store, so if you guys want it, I can put it into my store, which is up in the featured area on Amazon. And it just keeps it from sticking too much. We're going to go right ahead and do this to show you what I'm doing. And then I'll go back and show you what I see and I can add to this. And everyone's different. That's why this lady got pretty famous, I think, doing this, because it kind of, you just let it dry. Judy, what's her name? She's actually in a group, free group, watercolor group. If you guys are interested, let me know. Send you on over. It's free. Alright, so now we let this dry. So I'm going to go back in a minute and rework, maybe put in, you could put in a boat, maybe there's a boat right here. Maybe there's somebody fishing off the shore. Just kind of use your imagination. These are little islands. You could put some lines in there. Now you can go back with like a pen or a small, watercolor, or just a small brush. Doesn't have to be watercolor. Or some Posca pens. Or if you have them, I have them, which I think we're going to use. I actually have watercolor pens. Basically, like a lot of them are, they'll have like a small pen in one end and a brush on the other. I didn't even think about bringing these out, but that's actually a good idea. So you can do a lot with them too. Now they come in packs, but you can hit the, like, this purple's pretty. You can hit like Michael's, and they have the pen section. You can just get one. These actually came from a little fancy art store down here, but then this part's a pen. Oh, this was actually a marker. So I'm going to be able to use this one. Alright, so in the meantime, I got that tape down, and I went and I put, I got a thing here with this plastic, and then I put some paper down because it's going to get really wet here. Then you got a spray bottle, okay? But different effects from different papers. So if you're learning to do this, get it pretty wet. That's why you tape it down. Now I do this a lot of times without the tape. I let it buckle up as I'm working. I just work pretty fast. So, but if you're somebody that's worried about it buckling, then you want to tape it down. And so, what I'll do is I'll do them one after another, and they'll just roll up in a corner. And then I'll take and I'll put them, let them dry a little bit. Then I'll put them like into a book and let them dry. Then bring them back out and decide what I'm going to do to them, what I see, what my imagination sees. So I just wet that pretty good. And I already wet up my watercolors over here. Again, nice and juicy. You should do that first, wet your watercolors. Now these are pans, but if you got the tubes, you want to squish them out or you want to re-wet them. We're going to do some cone flowers here too in a minute, which wasn't the plan, but I just fell in love with them. I got crazy and did a whole bunch of them. That happens. Alright, so now I'm going to take a medium-sized brush. Now I have this watercolor brush, it's bamboo. I've had it quite a while. You can see I've kind of wore it right out. I love it. So usually for a landscape, I will do blue and purple. But I've done all different colors, pinks and everything else. And I'm going to make a line right down the middle. Now you can make it higher or lower depending on if you have a plan once you're doing this, you can do that. You really want to get this really soupy. And then what I do, give a little extra squirt, is it gives like these really odd, you really kind of want to go up and down. You don't want to like go to the side too much. Rock it back and forth. You can add more color. Just kind of hit it with some water and it'll start moving. Now see, you got to kind of have this buckled down because the paper's starting to warp. You don't want to get too carried away because what happens is it'll be so wet you can't do anything until it's completely dry. Now you can hit it with a blow dryer, but you got to be careful because it'll blow the water all over. Now, if that's some technique that you want to try, you can do that. Now, you might get into this and decide that that's a mountain. It's like a mountain, but you see a mountain. So you can make that the top, and you're going to end up making this your horizon. Now, you could take a palette knife. You can put it on with a palette knife too. You don't have to do a brush. A little hard to dip, but you can do it. So I can kind of make my horizon line. So this makes this the water, I think, right? So we can come back, say with another color if you want to. Let's do this blue and green. You can kind of come in here and do this, and then spray a little bit more if you want to. Kind of let that do stuff. You can move it around with like just water too. But see, I'm getting a lot of water on this, so it's getting a little dangerous. But you can take and maneuver the water around simply by dipping into your water thing. I might also remind you that a lot of artists have two water things, buckets. One to rinse and get the color off, and the other one so they get like a true color. But this is one of those things where it's such a sloppy application that you don't worry about that so much. So now you don't have to do any of this. You could have just left it like it was. Now I'm going to let this dry. Alright, that's an abstract landscape. Now you can go back and you could dab out some of this color too. Let me get a little. You can come back and you could dab out a little color if you want to play around with this a little bit. You can come in here and just like. This is something you gotta get over practice or anything, but it does come a lot easier once you've been doing it a while. But you can maneuver that water around. Watercolor is all about making the water do it. It's not going to always do what you want to do, but it's about controlling the water. Really, it is. Now I can do some reflections simply by pulling this down a little bit. And then we'll let that dry. You can like do some scratches for grass. Let that dry. This lady got pretty famous for doing this. She has paintings in museums, okay? So it's kind of a cool technique, though. A lot of artists do it. Just kind of messing with it. Alright, so this one is dry. So now I can come back with, say, a smaller brush. Now, the other one's a water. This one isn't so much, but you can use anything you want. Look at this tiny little brush. I hit a tiny long-haired one here, like a rigger. This one has like a long, it's just a regular brush. Actually, it's deco art. You ain't got many bristles on it. Like I said, you could use a watercolor pen or a watercolor brush. You can come in here. Let me let this one side. You can come in here and you can kind of play. Add a little more color up in here. Kind of use your imagination. Let's just put maybe a little bit of foliage or something here. Kind of add here. Just something. As I said, I see like a kind of maybe a bridge or something. Where you're using your imagination. Maybe it starts back up over here. Now you don't want too much on this. You just want indications of things. So let's kind of pick up on this water line here a little bit, like this going down a river or something. Now I need some green, I think. I'm going to take back into the watercolor, and I'm just going to pick up some greens. Not too dark, I'm thinking on the light side. Now luckily watercolor dries pretty light, so you can go over it again. And I'm just going to too much water. I'm just going to kind of pick up on these kind of marsh grasses. We're going to put some right here too. Needs to be darker. It's too bright. Oh, too bright. Let's see some brown to it. Can mix on the side of your palette. That's okay. Water lines here too. Should be able to do some bushes up in here. Up some of that purple, or actually the blue, I think, blue. And you can kind of add some more water lines to this. Alright, so I think you got the idea. So you can have a lot of fun with this, just kind of squint. I talk about when we talk about impressionism in the classes. Hey Jerry, hey Brad. Impressionism is, I got this 100 tips from all different artists. If you guys ever heard of this, I think it was his name. But number 3 on the list was squinting your eyes or taking your glasses off. Kind of like using your less dominant hand. This is a good practice for imagination. I mean, just go through, throw a bunch of water on it, let it dry, and go back and just see what you see. Now some of these come out really sucky, but I've had a good handful that come out pretty good. And they're small, so you can frame these. So, you know, very simple. But squint your eyes, take your glasses off. It's a good way to practice using just kind of an artist's intuition. And just let it go. Don't try to like overthink it. Just do it, you know. And get yourself some different tools and play around with them. Pens, watercolor pencils, watercolor pens, watercolor. You could even put in squash, or you could use acrylic paint too. Mostly you want to use watercolor. Alright, so we'll go back to that other one in a minute. I'm going to kind of, it's really wet, so I'm going to kind of come back with some paper towels and kind of dab a little bit, so just so it'll dry a little fast. You hit it with the dryer, but I got to make sure there's nothing going to move until if I want it to move, you can hit it with the dryer though. But I'm going to dry this a little bit. While that's drying, I'm going to show you my cone flowers. I'm doing the cone flowers for you guys for Happy Mail. And or ATC. And I did one and I couldn't stop. That's like when I first doing these. I can do these. I love doing these. So now, remember, this is multimedia paper. We will do one after I do this one on a heavier paper. Oh shoot, what I did. It's okay. It'll just give it character. These actually came like this. They're like postcards. Amazon, a whole bunch of them. Probably a deal, you know, I'm always getting deals. So I'm going to do some on this is a little heavier paper. It's cold pressed. It's got the divots in it. That's all cold pressed means. It's been pressed, and then when it presses, it just makes little divots in it. So we'll do that after. So this paper is the watercolor paper I always use in the big books, and I cut it up small. I cut up like a, what was it, like a 9 by 12, 8 by 11, whatever they are, into like strips. So, and then I did a whole bunch of them. These are going to be in your mail. This is why I might as well show them. I did a video. The first video, I forgot to push the button. So the second one it's okay, but I'll put it out there. So let me just give you an idea. Now you could do it without the pen, but I think the pen really shows it up. We did that class Thursday, and I've been playing with this whole technique thing now. So, alright, so I got a little piece of paper here because I get water all over. We'll get back to that other one, and then we're going to do another watercolor on the pressed paper, cold pressed paper. Alright, so I'm going to use my little bamboo brush. I know they have a name. I just call it bamboo brush. I've seen some artists, some Chinese lady or something using it, and I fell in love. So now I'm going to do like a reddish brown, mostly brown, a little bit of red in it. And I'm going to make a pretty good heavy amount of color into like a half a circle. Really move it around. And then I take my brush and I'm going to pick up some more and take water off it. Simply by talking about maneuvering the paint and getting it to do what you want it to do. Now I'm going to drop in some of that darker brown shadow right on this side. It gives me a light part and a dark part. Just like this. Kind of maneuver it around with the brush. Alright. So now I'm going to mix me up a pretty pinkish purple. I got a couple different purples and pinks here. You can just play with it. I first started just doing pink and I started mixing blue in. Gives you nice little different textures. Now usually, like with any, this would kind of like a round brush. If you push down and flick out, you'll get like a nice leaf. Now if you don't want this to blend right here, you gotta keep it separate or you gotta let that dry a second. But I don't worry about that. So you make kind of a football and then pull it out. Any colors you want. And remember, this looks a little dark. These are going to dry light, guys. It's, watercolor paint does that. So don't stress if it's a little dark. You can always dab some of the paint off, too. This one is kind of dark. That's okay. Works for me. Nice that it never come out exactly the same. And I kind of like that. Alright, let me let this sit a minute. Let's see who's on here. Whew. Yeah, so I haven't even got my mail out yet. Just busy. So I just cleaned out my drawer yesterday. Things I'm going to give you guys. I think I gave you about everything I got. So I said, well, I better make some stuff now, I guess. Let's see. What group am I in? Artsy Rose group. Yeah, so I've been monkeying around the YouTube. I haven't really done too much, but I got a couple plans. I have to think about it sometimes because nobody, I went into my business group and I asked them, what are we going to do about this and what can we do about that? And no answer. You know what that means? Nobody freaking knows. And yet the other one's selling a $2,500 course. The other one says, I ain't paying $500, I ain't paying $2,500. I'm already on YouTube. I just haven't got a lot of people yet. That's the only problem. All right, so let me see. Where's my live class? Where am I? But that's Art by Day and Mars. We want Art by Day and Mars. We want the group. We want, okay. Am I on live here? Should be on. There we go. I can see if I can see you guys talking. Turn the sound off first. Hold on. Art by Day. Okay. Am I on live here? Should be on. There we go. Sometimes I try to do this before and it just doesn't work out, so I have to do it during the class. Hold on, I turn off. Hey, Stacy. There we go. Sometimes I try to do this before. It just doesn't work out. So, I mean, there's other applications that you can buy to do this with, like StreamYard, but, I'm not making enough money yet that I can do that, and I don't pay a virtual assistant. So a lot of them pay for ads too. I don't do that. I do everything organic. All right, come on, guy. Come on over. Come on. Okay. All right, now I can see you guys. Yeah, I can see it. I got it up, Stacy. I can see the comments now. I don't put them up right at the beginning because you can see it's complicated. So I just like to get the class started, and then I go in and I get the comments up. And the other problem is I only see your comment there. I see Sharon and Jerry and Brad up here. So, I've decided that they kind of divvy out, like I have a laptop, a Kindle, an iPad, and a phone. And they must divvy it up over all of them. And then when I get done, I go in my business section, all of it shows up, but there's also people that I don't see that show up. And it's during the cast, live cast, so, I don't know. So I always do it right. And if I don't see anything, well, I figured out StreamYard, but that's just more money. I already pay for all different, like, editing devices, and I have Canva, and I have this one to store my emails, and I've cut back on a lot of them. I had Zoom. I decided Zoom is free 40 minutes, so I'm not going to pay for that anymore. But after a while, it's like the little bit of money you're making is going back into all this crap they're trying to sell you. So, no. But StreamYard wasn't all that complicated, but it's like one more thing to do. You know what I mean? It's like one more thing to do. It's enough doing this, and now that they transferred all the videos over to YouTube, I'm like, so now I'm messing around with YouTube. So I'm over, get a chance, go over there and subscribe. I'm on there. I did live a couple weeks ago, and I got over 100 videos, just so you guys should know that anybody hasn't been on here. Let me turn this back around. We'll get back down to business here. Yeah, but I get the class started right off the bat, and then at some point, you know, and as I go, sometimes I change things that I wasn't going to use, and I'll go back, because you can do that. No one says you guys stick with one thing. It depends on what you're doing, what the newest thing is, you know. It's always something. And now they're changing everything on Facebook. I'm like, now I'm over there missing. I was already on YouTube, but I hadn't planned on really using it. You know, not really. I was on Instagram for a while. I kind of slacked off on that because I'm not doing as many paint parties. For other, physical reasons. I had some health issues and just things. Moved into this trailer. I had a lot going on. So, so there you got a whole bunch of little things on there. Now what I'm going to do is I want to darken this edge up a little bit. And I'm just going to take some more of that brown, kind of a black kind of brown. And I'm just going to come in here. See this? On this edge. And I'm just going to darken it. I'm just going to drop some color in. Take some paint off it and kind of push up into this. Then I'm going to kind of just like dab in some, nothing fancy, just dab in some little colors. It is a, it is a coneflower, so there's like these little knobby things. And I'm going to kind of take some off with my paper towel. If you get too much, you can always just drag it out. Now I'm going to rinse it out, and I'm going to go into the green. I'm going to make a green stem. I'm just going to make a line. I didn't let it dry so it blends in. I love that, but some people don't. So if you don't want anything to blend like that, you gotta dry each section. But you learn that as you go, what you like and what you don't care about. And as you learn to control your brush more and all that kind of stuff, you get a little more confident. And once you are confident and you're not worried so much about how your art comes out, guess what? It's actually better. No one ever believes me. At some point, I'm like, it's like, hold on. Don't be so afraid. A lot of art sucks. They go in after people die, and they go into their studios. Say, look, this one's good. No, the really good one like that is actually in the Louvre, or it's in MoMA, or it's somewhere, So the artist or whoever, their agent, a lot of them have agents, knew, So I'm going to leave this part out. That looks kind of cool. See how all of them always look different. So I'm going to kind of take my finger, I'm going to pick up some of the colors I used here on the side, and I'm just going to kind of rub in some colors just a little bit here and there. Just rub in some little interesting little sections, and I can add some water if it's too dark, and I can dab it with this thing, just to give a little more interest. Let me go do that other corner. I got some paint spray on the side here, so I can kind of, there's little board, most of these little kits have like a little board on the side where you can mix. This one's actually a King Art, which I love their product. It's a mess, I know, but I actually cleaned it not too long ago. Turn this out a little more. So you don't have to do this background with this, it's just something I want to do. Alright, so now I'm going to take that big brush again, and I'm going to go into that pink, I think. And I'm going to make it super soupy because I want to splash. But it says splash in the first time. I'm going to splash a couple times on my palette to make sure the splashes aren't too big and crazy. And then I can go like this. How about that? One more there. Now now let's let this dry. I'm going to hit it with a dryer a little bit. But the same thing, you don't want to move this paint around too much. You kind of want to do it to the side, just give it a kiss. Or let it dry, just let it dry. I like doing watercolors. When I first started doing these, I wasn't all that great at it. But I was fascinated, well, for one thing, with a house full of kids, this is something that I didn't need a lot of area, didn't need to spend a lot of money. It seems like I always needed, when I was doing oil colors, I always needed expensive tube of paint. Oil is expensive then, it's expensive now. I still love it. They never come out quite the same, that's what's nice too, you know. And you know, it's an expensive little hobby to get started with. But you see people that do, they do portraits. I mean, portraits. It's like talking about New York accent, portraits. Way back, they did a lot of famous paintings with watercolors. So there's pigment and water, and they use like squash. They use different things. There's a lot of, I don't know the names, but there's a lot of different paints out there. Way back, they had to make a lot of it. They had to source the stuff, and a lot of times they would teach their apprentices how to make stuff, and the apprentice would die because they get poisoned. Some of the stuff was poisonous. They could tell where a painting came from simply by what's in there. You know, they take a test and say, oh, this is an ore, you can only get that in Italy, whatever. So, interesting, right? I like reading art history, by the way. I love watching the videos on it. I don't read too much anymore, I don't have to. Between audiobooks and, no, see, I'm just going through. Some of this is wet, but that's okay. And just following the shape, not perfect, a little wonky, which I like. We want it fun. It makes it look fancy, like expensive. And so the other night we did strawberries and turnips, no, wait a minute, radishes. So you could even add one that's not like even in there, like that. Add one right here. And then you can go through and make little spikes. Like I said, it's going to paint all the time. Well, the more paint you do, the more paintings you do, the better you get. But just keeping your hand in. I remember like looking out the car window and saying, oh, what would I use for the sky? Would I use this color or would I use that color? So living a creative life, which I talk about in my classes, is important too. Being aware of, you know, different things that might be at some point. Take a picture, especially with these new cameras. Couldn't do back that in the day. Couldn't do that in the day. You could say, I'd like to paint this someday. There's so many things on my phone. It's like Pinterest. I will never do all the stuff on there that I get pinned. How about you? Because I know I never will. Yeah, I love cone flowers. I got a couple abstract ones I did with palette knife. So I seen somebody doing this. I think it was Andrea Nelson. That she's an art teacher, and I think she said her friend's been doing it. So now I'm doing it. It just gives it kind of a finished look, kind of. Then I can just sign it on the side. I like signing on the side. There you go. Isn't that cool? So you guys will be getting these in your Happy Mail. Your HEC group will be. Well, I'll probably have a few extra. Alright, so now this one is dried, but let's do another one. It's still a little damp. And I'm going to put that on here. Well, this one I don't have to worry about taping down because it's thick. Alright guys, so we can do this smaller. I'm going to get my cutter. I get this cutter. I should put this on my list too. This thing was like $6. It's like comes in so handy. Because I don't know about you, but I don't cut so even anymore, and I'm very impatient, so this like really helps a lot. Let me see. Well, let me find out what where's dead center? Where's dead center? So it's 17, 8 and 8 is 16, so see about 8 and a half, right about here. Right there. Oops. Handy little thing. They got smaller ones, they got bigger ones, they got fancier ones, but this is just right. Price was good. I just use it to cut for like ATCs and stuff. Paper, cut down paper. Instead of like buying them, I can just do it myself. Alright, so this is about the right size. Now I don't have to tape this down. But if you want to have that nice edge, and that nice, you can either do what I did where you can just do little dots, or you can tape it. Now, like I said, I have washi tape. A lot of times the washi tape, I don't, some of it sticks, some of it don't, but I get so much water on there, it messes the washi tape up, and it's good washi tape. So I just take this and I just rub it across. You see what I'm doing? I'm literally taking this tape and I'm just like taking it across my pants and my shirt, and it gets some of the stickiness off. That's all I'm doing. It's the simplest thing. You use the same tape too, by the way, if it's not too wet. But I plan on wetting this up pretty good. So this is a heavier duty cold presses. It has a little divots in it. You'll see it's like a little bumpy. It's not going to buckle like the other one, but you're going to get this nice little edge on it for, you know, you guys want to sell these or something. Put them in a little sleeve or put them in a little frame or... I usually do this on I had a piece of board, I finally threw it out, and then I had a pretty thick piece of cardboard, and that got really messy. I threw that out. So lately I've just been doing them. Well, I haven't done them lately, but I've been doing stuff on the back of these little Dollar Tree ones. Just trying to make sure it's kind of even all the way around. Same thing, you really got to be careful about pulling these up because they tend to take the paper, especially the thinner ones. The thicker ones I don't worry about so much, but it could still do it. The more water you use, the more likely it is to do that. So, drop my spray bottle. Hold on. Yeah, that StreamYard's a pain. And there's other ones besides StreamYard. There's a lot of other stuff out there, but you know, it's like you waste all this energy, and that's why a lot of people go and hire people. I can see what I'm spraying this down pretty good, and I get it. But even that, you got to make sure you're making enough to do that, you know. But you know, maybe I'm just not that ambitious. I just want to paint, you know. Okay, so I sprayed it down pretty good. Now this time I'm gonna take my palette knife. I'm gonna wet it. Then it's kind of hard to get it into these, but I'm gonna kind of just manage to do it here. And then you could also, I did it before, just make some paint on the side. That's what I'm gonna do. Make some paint on the side, and then I can take my palette knife and make like a middle thing here. Oops. I made a little bucket of water on the side here. You can do some different colors too. Now, if you've got watercolors, you don't have a side thing, you could just use a plate. You know, what would work too? Glass plate, paper plate, plastic paint, whatever you got. Now, you can just use a plastic palette knife here. You can use this fancy. This is my favorite one, and it's such a mess. I keep saying I'm gonna pick up another one. I keep forgetting. I don't use just this one, but this is like great for detail. It's like kind of a detailing one. I detail with it. Okay, so let me get the idea. I'm gonna do a little bit more there. I need more. Now you could just come in and add water with this, or you could take your spray bottle. Where's my spray bottle again? And you can kind of now you might do this one time and think, oh, I like the bottom better than do the top. That's going to be my sky. Then you might come back and I said you got to use your imagination. You might come back and say, well, you know something, the bottom should be the top. More blue, I think. More blue. Now Judy does most of hers on small, but she's got some a little bigger. I tried doing a little bigger ones, and actually the small ones I think are actually a little more easier to maneuver. And she's got a lot of them that are small. She puts them in these, she mats them really cool so that the mat's really big and the painting makes it look bigger, but the painting's only so long. I said, be careful how much water you use on this, because you can add water to it too. You can kind of add some colors and maneuver it a little bit, just for fun. Now there's some, that's going to be the sky. You can see there's like this, just, I don't know if you can see it, but there's like just like far away images. And I can take some water and my tip of this and kind of come in here and play up on this, just move this paint up into this, these little images I'm seeing up in here. Or you don't have to do anything. I'm just kind of playing off on these. I can see something up in this distance. You can come in here and it's really wet and you can kind of come in here and maneuver things. Take your glasses off. Use your imagination. Now just let that dry. Now maybe you'd like it the other way. No, I like this way. You're going to have a mess too, so I suggest like a, something plastic and then paper. Okay, let's go back to this. Let that dry, air dry. Air dry is better when you can. And now be careful about taking this off, because this is gonna rip. Now some people swear by doing this with a blow dryer, and it does work, but you're gonna get pieces that just don't want to stay on there. That's okay, no big deal. In fact, sometimes when you're looking at some fine art, watercolors, if you see a few rips, that's a good sign that they did it with the tape. Yeah, just telling you that. At least that turns me on. I don't know about other people. So you see like the frayed edges, that's what it's from, the tape. See, a lot of people use the hot blow dryer too. Now, if you dry it enough, a lot of times I find you'll get a little fraying, but I think it's cool, so. Alright. So now, I see a bridge here. Right off the bat, I see a bridge. I'm going to take a black micro pen, which is just a really small pen, and I'm going to make this into a bridge. Maybe there's just the slightest reflection here. I see like there's something like almost like street lights right here, so I'm gonna play on that too. And I see some kind of building like right in here. Reflection, kind of. This can't be perfect. This is definitely water. So you can take a small brush, and I'm going to come in here with some green. Do you guys see what I'm saying? Like, you just kind of use your image. This is a great way, I need a darker color, to use them imagination, creativity muscles. I'm going to add a little brown to it, it's a little too green. It's going to dry lighter, but it's dark. I'm going to kind of push that a little bit. Ooh, that was cool. A little much, but that was cool. So now you get like this kind of swamp stuff going on here. Maybe I'll just take my palette knife while this is wet. Make the implications of some grass. So I think you guys got the idea. So this is a great way to use your imagination, practice controlling your watercolor, and letting go, just letting things happen. You'd be surprised. And it's also one of those cases where less is more, because sometimes I tend to everybody overworks, so I'm sitting here thinking I could do all these things, but I'm thinking I'm going to kind of let this go a little bit. Don't be afraid to play, you know, like I said, it's kind of a little inexpensive thing. It doesn't take a lot of time. What I just did, we're gonna have, I'm gonna do like almost like a cattail here. So like in 40, not even 40 minutes, we've done 1, 2, 3, we're gonna fit 4 paintings. So that's quite a bit. It's pretty cool, right? And you could sign it. You could edge it if you wanted to. Same thing with this one. It's nice, these little micro pens are really small. I did put the set, it's not the same one, but it's the same thing, in my Amazon store list at the top of this page in the featured area. So it's not quite dry, so let me just try to see if it comes up. I might have to finish it off on this, take it out there. Let's see if I can, oops. I'm gonna get it off without putting it. It's pretty hot too, guys, pretty hot. Still wet. This is International Watercolor Month, so I always in the spring, early summer do rock painting and like these little watercolors. I'll tell you, it's a good way to do a whole bunch of little paintings like you do cards or anything, because you get a lot of practice without using a lot of canvas. You know what I mean? Different techniques. These techniques will be used in other paintings, big paintings, you know. So this one looks really good. I got it off. Okay. He said you don't have to use the tape, but if you don't, it's going to buckle. Except for this. See, it didn't buckle. This like got a lot of weight to it. That's a cold pressed, heavy duty, like 180 around there. A little higher, a little lower, in that area, 160, 180. But you can feel it, you can tell it's got some weight to it. So now, what do I see? There's definitely like a tree thing here. Some trees here, I don't know, wait a minute. Is that a reflection? I don't know. This seems like it's a tree line. I'm not sure what those are yet. Sometimes the person looking at the painting has to use their imagination. So, just to let you know. You say, what do you see? I see a bear. That's what it is. It's a bear. Just saying. Let's see. What else is in here? Who else is in here? See, all I'm getting is Stacy up here. Jerry's still on, Sharon. Other people show up later. They always do. So now, let's kind of use my imagination, and I'm gonna come in here with a little darker bluish purple here. Maybe a little brown in there. Just tone it down a little bit. Come in here and let's make some buildings. I see kind of like buildings in here. Got a really small brush. to do reflection. Same kind of buildings. These might be like maybe a railway yard or something. Now these are off in the distance, so you don't want too much green up in here. A little bit's okay, but like usually in your far distant is usually cooler, which is blues and stuff. So I just want something there, indication of the other colors will look like it's off in the distance. You can even put like a little dock right here, have it come out onto the water. And then we'll do the same thing with just some kind of water going on here. And we can put in some more foliage in here. Do bigger stuff in the front, what happens is it pushes everything to the back. I don't know if you guys realize that. So if you're doing a field of flowers, you can kind of just smush in the pink or whatever. When you get closer, you can give the indication of the flower, and when it's really close, do the flower. That way it will push everything back. So I'm kind of just doing some swamp stuff here. This one I could actually do some big ones like I did in the other one. Some brown in here. Kind of tone this down a little bit. You could even take some white or even some yellow. It's an abstract, so you can have fun. Let's do some yellow. I'm gonna pump up this yellow. Let me rinse this. I need some clear paint. I don't have any, so or clear water. Let me clean this out a little bit. And I can do a little yellow more if I want to. And I got some yellow. You can come in here and you can put in a little moon or a sun, whatever. So whatever your imagination sees, and you could pick up on these colors right here. There's some reflection in the foliage here. And you can even take some of that yellow and put it right in the shoreline. The side of the building where it would hit, the light would hit it. You could take that brown color and make yourself, I got a really small brush here, make yourself some little birds or some big birds. Have some fun with it. Alright, so there's another one. I'll take pictures when we get done. So I was just using my imagination. And then this one. And then this one. Isn't that fun? And of course we got our cone flowers. We guys will probably get some of these landscapes too. I need to like go through and see, like I've had a few people, quite a few people lately ask me for paintings, and I kind of know what I got here. You know, a lot got destroyed, and you're supposed to keep track. I know some got sold and some were gifts and some are right here. Something else to do. So I finally got that great big deck box, and that's what's going to go in there, and I'm going to take pictures of all the things that are available, and then I can start posting them. I've been posting everything that I have on my phone, but I don't have all those paintings. But a good many can be repainted, because I do that a lot. So if anybody does see something that they want, let me know, and I will paint it for you. Or if I have it, you can have that. Unless it's really a good original, then I just repaint it and then keep the original, which is what everybody does. Or I can make a print. I can make an 8x11.5 print on canvas. I got a canvas for my copier. Anyways, so that's it for today. I'll take a picture of all this after class, and I will see you guys next Thursday. I might pop on and do some things. I'm not sure yet. I really gotta get back on the YouTube thing, so make sure you go over there. I mean, I just got another person, so I have 34. Once I hit 50, I can do the class with my phone. I had to do a live class. I did 10 tips. I just started painting, so I got a couple other things I've been wanting to do. So I'm going to do them. I'm probably going to do like a class every couple of weeks or something live, and I'll give you the date. You can come over and visit me. But in the meantime, you know, on Facebook, sometimes you couldn't find, you might find the next day, you might find this video. If it's in the group, which took me a while to figure out, it won't go anywhere. Well, all that's going to end. That's another whole story. Talked to my girls last night about what I think I can do in the groups. I'm not sure yet, because a lot of people kind of struggling with this right now. But the thing with the YouTube is, as long as you have the title, you can punch it in, it comes up. You couldn't do that with Facebook. So everything is there. There's over 100, like 102 public videos. I have other videos in there for my private groups and things that I just didn't share. So not yet. And then I got new ones going in for the last couple of months. So make sure you go over and take a look. And I'm sure this is going to be one that's going to go into there. So it's nice because you can go find it. On here, you don't know. You'll be looking for it 3, 4, 5 days later, 6 months it shows up. So, and that's the way they're giving them to us. I download, everything's on my computer. I have uploaded everything, but everything's on my computer, which is another story. So they did bulk give them to me, but I wasn't sure if my computer was going to take them all, and blah, blah, blah. So anyways, if you go over to YouTube, you can binge watch me. I guess that one girl did. Joellen, so you can go over there and see whatever. And this is going to be on here probably sometime next week. I got to go on there and put on June's. I haven't put June on yet, so I got like 2 classes for the other group. I think there's 3 classes for here that are going on, and then I do it month by month now because they give you 28 days. I get a little bit more than that, but it's 28 to 30 days. So if I don't like it, I don't put it on. But and after that, anybody wants to watch it, if you're in one of the groups, I can give you a link. On the paid group, you have, you get the link anyways. So, all right, guys. So have a great afternoon, and thanks for coming. And I'll catch you next week, and I'll let you know what we're doing then. All right, guys, and let inspiration find you wherever you go. And guys, make art. Make lots and lots of art. I'll see you later. Bye.